Hey everybody, Mr. mredrollo here, and welcome to another ADSR live stream. I hope everyone has had a great week and they're kicking back on this Friday night, or whatever time of day it happens to be, wherever you are. A big thank you to ADSR for having me back on the show. I really appreciate it. Perhaps you caught my Push2 Workflow stream last week, which was a lot of fun. And if you did miss it, perhaps you can go back and watch it another time. For those who don't know, I'm a DJ and a producer and an Ableton certified trainer based in Hong Kong, which is where I'm streaming from today. And I have just released a brand new video series entitled Produce with Push2 over on adsrsounds.com/courses, which demonstrates producing a track from start to finish using Ableton Live and the Push controller. I keep things super simple in this course and try to prevent people from getting distracted with the abundance of fancy tools available to producers these days. So if you do like what I'm doing here today, definitely go and check out that course. I go into a lot more detail and I think you'll get a lot out of it. So today we're going to take a look at 5 simple creative ideas in Ableton Live to spark a little bit of inspiration. Maybe you're struggling to create music, perhaps you're having a bit of creative block at the moment, or maybe you're just not sure where to start. That's totally fine. We've all been there. I know at times like this, when we seem to have a lot more free time on our hands, there is almost an unconscious pressure as producers or creatives that we should be doing something productive. That should be, that we should be like pumping out EPs or, creating bodies of work at the moment. I know I've definitely felt it, and this is, of course, completely normal. Yeah, we have a lot more free time on our hands, but we also don't have to keep filling it with stuff. The space is okay. But if you are having a bit of a tough time at the moment, then I'm hoping these simple techniques will make you feel a little bit inspired to throw on some headphones and enjoy some music making. We are streaming today on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitch, I believe, too. I've got the chat up from various sources here, so I'll try to stay on top of that. If you do have any questions, though, please fire them in the chat. Show me some love, and I'll get to those probably later on in the chat in the stream towards the end. We'll be streaming for about an hour today, and let's just get into making some music and sparking that inspirado. I have 5 tips for you guys. I really hope you enjoy this. Let's get stuck into it. Bam. All right. So we're going to be dealing predominantly in live today. I've also got a push controller in front of me, which is certainly not mandatory for, learning or picking up these tips, but a push is very nice to have. You could always just use a MIDI controller. And we're going to start with idea number 1, which is probably a little one that's been overlooked in Ableton Live, and that is clips. So it sounds like a funny thing to say, but if we go over to our categories inside the browser here, you may not have even noticed this little guy down here which says clips. Inside here, we have a collection of audio and MIDI clips featuring melodic and rhythmical ideas. And there's so many good sounds and so many good samples in here, drum grooves, patterns, all sorts of things. Like I could just keep scrolling here. Literally, I'm not even halfway down yet. There's just thousands and thousands of ideas in here. And if we just click on a few of these, we can have a listen. If you guys are picking that up, let's see what else we've got in here. Now these are all filtered in from all the different packs that I have on my computer, and also stuff from the core library. There's just so much stuff that we can explore in here. Yeah, we've got some weird bassy techno stuff as well. Look, anyway, I prepared a couple earlier because there's literally thousands in here. I found this one which was actually quite high up. It's called 80N Picasso 95 BPM. So I played this guy and instantly kind of sparked that inspiration, and I just felt like making music. So let's drag this in. Actually, we can just double click and open it up in here. Let's take a look at this clip. So this is just an audio clip. We do have mixture of audio and MIDI clips within the clips category here. Let's just play this. Let's get this nice and loud, shall we? Beautiful. Like already ready to go. Feels like it needs a nice kind of down-tempo beat onto it. So I've also got whatever this kind of beat is. I'm not even sure how to describe that. Let's just double click this as well. Now the cool thing about this is also from the clips category, but this is a MIDI clip. And so this is just a pattern or a rhythm that's been drawn in here. And what's cool about this is it's just a starting point. You know, we have a drum rack in here. We've got a bunch of different sounds. It's basically just an 808 with a bunch of processing on it, lots of distortion and things. But if we go back up into our clip here, I'll open this up nice and big so you can see what's going on. We'll play this clip along. Now we have the freedom to do whatever we want here. This is just a starting point. So these toms, I'm not really agreeing with that because it's a pitchy sound and I don't really like that pitch. So I'm just going to move these down or up. No. Maybe just some more hi-hats. Pretty cool. All right, let's maybe go down to the kick here. Let's re-put this in. Maybe we can just duplicate this across. Maybe do another one. And we could just like delete all these guys and let's maybe just duplicate this across. Nice. Let's do a couple more things here. If I go into the pen tool, I'm just going to select the B key on my keyboard here, which brings up the pen tool. And then I can let's just flood out some hi-hats here. Cool. Let's also right-click and go into some 32nd notes. These are 16ths, but let's go some 32nds so we can put some nice little trappy trills in here. Let's maybe here. Yeah, we just maybe a couple in here as well. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, cool. I'm just feeling these out where I think they should go. Yeah. Nice. Awesome. Okay, idea number one, clips. I'm just going to leave it there because there's a world of loops and rhythms and all kinds of samples and stuff for you guys to go and explore. Really hope you don't overlook the clips category because it's a really good starting point. Highly recommend just taking a minute just to explore those because you'd probably be surprised what's sitting on your hard drive that you had no idea about. Cool. That was idea number one. Let's get rid of this stuff because we're going to start this fresh every single time. And let's move on to my next point here. Idea number two. All right, is the chord device. Chord device is a MIDI effect, and for those that don't know, we have audio effects in Live, and we also have MIDI effects in Live, which affect the MIDI. Audio affects the audio, MIDI affects the MIDI. And MIDI effects sits at the start of the device chain, so the effectively affects the input signal before it reaches the instrument. And it's probably best I do this by demonstrating. So let's go into our MIDI effects category down here on the side of the browser. Just make sure you guys can see that. Yes, we're all good. And we've got the chord up here. Now there's a bunch of presets underneath here. You can go in here and explore these if you like, but I like to just start from fresh. I'm just going to drop this into a MIDI track. And for reference, let's grab, say, just a grand piano. That'll do. Ah, beautiful. Now, if we go into the chord, I might do this on the push just because it looks kind of nice. Let's transition back, shall we? All right. So you can see along here that I've got these 6 shifts, and this is essentially where I can place extra notes above my original note. It's a MIDI effect, so it's affecting the MIDI input. Okay, so we've got a note coming in here. Now if I go to my first shift, let's start bringing up the values here. These are very sensitive. That's a 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. That's your minor third there. 4 step, major third. Let's go up. There's your perfect fifth. That's a 7 step, and so on. So let's just make up a minor chord, and the next one along. That's just with the 7, and we could put, say, maybe an octave in here. Cool. So these are semitones, right? So 3 semitones, 7 semitones, and 12 semitones. And now I've just got a nice minor chord. And we could go major chord. I'll just bring this up to a 4 step. Sounds kind of weird. All right, so let's make a slightly cooler chord, shall we? So let's bring this down to 0. Let's bring this down to 0. I'm going to start. This is a cool chord. And if you want to write this down, you can. First step's going to be 10, because you may not remember this. Second step's going to be 14. Ooh, we're getting somewhere. Third step's going to be 15. Sounds a bit off. We're getting a bit of dissonance there, but it's kind of nice. Once we kind of resolve this chord with the last note, we're going to put in a 19, 16, 18. Oh, there it is. It's that magic chord. It's basically what makes up every kind of classic house track. Actually, I was messing around with this the other day, and it sounds a lot like the Todd Terje track Strand Bar. Is that the one? So I think that's kind of a cool idea we could run with. So I'm just going to grab some drums. Let's get a 909, drop that in here, because we're making house music. Let's just get a groove going, shall we? Well, okay, we're still at 90 BPM. Let's bring that up to a house groove. Where are we? 123, that'll do. All right, we're in the club already. Well, let's record these in live, shall we? Quantize that. Let's tighten up this hi-hat a little bit. It's a bit crazy. Envelopes, bring the release down. Awesome. Let's go back to the piano, shall we? let's record this in. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2. Yeah, maybe just a 2-bar loop will do. 1, 2. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was awful. Let's try that again, shall we? Oh, this is tricky. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Nice. There we go. I could just groove on that all day. But already, right? Already I'm kind of like, I'm in the groove, I'm in the moment, and like that's just a starting point. And now I'm like, I'm ready to write music and more and better music kind of thing. But it gets me in the right headspace. And that's essentially what this whole stream is about. It's just getting in the right frame of mind to create some music. All right. So that's my idea number 2, is using the chord device. Now, idea number 3, we're going to kind of build on this idea because this is just a starting point, and you might be kind of asking yourself, like, well, yeah, this is cool, Ed, but we've kind of just got the same chord everywhere we play. So it's just like the same house chord, which I think is like a ninth or something, I think this chord is. Like a minor ninth or something, I'm not exactly sure. But we're essentially playing the same chord wherever we are on the keyboard. And that can get really limiting because tracks are made up of multiple different types of chords, and major chords, minor chords, everything. So we're going to use another little technique here, and I'll just refresh my project. So I'm just going to delete that the house beat, which was a lot of fun. Get rid of the grand piano here because I think we're done with that. And I'm just going to reset this chord device also. But I'm going to introduce another one for my third idea, which is the MIDI effect scale. Now, chord and scale, it's kind of all in the name of these devices. They go together really, really well. And so we're just going to grab a scale preset. If we go back over to live now, this is where we can scroll down the different presets that we have in here, and we have the C major scale in here. We have all the different modes as well. These are familiar for all the push users out there that we have on the push. So we have all the different scales that you can see along the top here. This is like a way to get to those if you don't have a push within live. We've got C major, we've got minor harmonic, we've got the minor melodic up, Dorian mode, Phrygian mode. Some of these you'll be quite familiar with. We've also got some nice ones in here like flamenco mode, which could be quite cool. I'm going to keep things nice and simple though, and we're just going to go with the C minor scale and drop that in front of the chord. Now I'm temporarily just going to switch this off for the dramatic effect. And drop in let's just drop in a wavetable, shall we? We'll do just a little bit of sound design with this. That'll do, maybe just like a triangle wave. And let's build up another chord, but let's just build up something a little bit simpler. So we're going to go just make a major, actually just a minor chord. So we're using a C minor scale, so let's go minor chord. Let's go actually, that's the minor third. Let's go up to, let's make a fifth as well. And we'll put the octave in too. Okay, so we've got a minor chord. This is a 15, which is essentially an octave above the immediate third. So if we muted the chord, we'd have, there's our major chord, there's our minor chord, we've actually got this an octave above, which I believe is up here. We've got the fifth in there too. And we've also got an octave above too. So that's essentially the chord that we've created just with this device. Beautiful. Now, if I was to input some notes here, we'd just be hearing minor chord, minor chord, minor chord, and this is where the C minor scale device comes into handy here. So this is going to filter out any notes that don't sit within this scale. So we can have a lot of fun here. I think you can see where this is going. Let's just get a little idea down here. Let's just get in the groove. Maybe go for something a little bit slower. Maybe like a dun 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 dun, like 110. Just do that simple pattern. 2 3 4 2 2 3 4. It's like a 4-bar loop. Let's record that off. 2 3 and quantize that. Nice. Now that's just pretty simple. Whoa, geez, that was loud. Sorry about that. Let's turn you off. Far out. Blew my ears off. Let's go into here. Now, if we just look at these notes that we're putting in here, these are just single little notes in here, but what's great about this is that we have all these in-between chords as well. We're not just strictly, I'm just playing the scale here, but we can slip out of this scale on push. And we get all these in-between chords, which is really nice as well. So here I just like to dip into the MIDI notes and then just experiment. We can just move up and down, we could move across and just kind of find something that we kind of like. Maybe we can get a little drum loop in here just for reference. I think I had one over here before. Yeah, this is kind of nice. Maybe we can try moving this one around. Oh, that's cool. Maybe both of these down. Try moving this guy up. Let's just see what this is like. It's kind of cool. Let's add some effects on here. We'll go into Let's get the holy duo of effects. Let's maybe bring these down, split these up. Let's grab some reverb as well. Awesome. Yeah, just get lost in the moment, but that's a good thing. So idea number 3, chord and scale together. These two just work so nice and is really, really good. Just a side note here as well, if you didn't just want to deal with C minor, you can actually change the root note here to any other key within our 12 keys that we have here. So you can pick any key that you like, and you don't just have to go with a minor scale, but it's a pretty good starting point if you've never used it before. All right, let's clear the project. I'll select all these devices, and we're going to start again for my next idea. How are we going for time? We're about halfway through, which is pretty good. Allows me to do 2 more ideas, and then we're going to take some questions and shout outs and yeah, share the love. If you did have any questions, please drop them in the chat and I'll do my best to answer them towards the end. All right, idea number 4. This is probably one of my favorite devices in live, which is something I brought up in my stream from last week, which was the Max for Live ARP effect, which is just a beautiful MIDI effect again, which honestly just gets me in the groove every single time. I absolutely love it, and it's kind of my never fail writer's block solution. So let's take a look at this one. I'm just going to grab, if we go down actually into Max for Live category here, you'll find it under MIDI effects, and we can just drop that into a new MIDI track. Now, just to show you how super simple this is, literally just going to grab the default analog instrument, drop that on here, and I'm just going to grab the salt and pepper delay and some reverb, drop those guys on here also, just do a little bit of tweaking. So let's bring the dry wet down on these, and we can just add them as we go along, build the suspense. So we just have the default analog sound at the moment, and what I'm going to do here is just go into the device and bring down the filter a little bit. Let's just mute the ARP for a second. Beautiful. So this is literally just grabbing analog and dropping it into a track and bringing down the filter a little bit. We already have a little bit of filter envelope enabled just by default in here, just down the bottom here, this tiny little guy actually says envelope at 4 value, so we already have the envelope enabled, which is giving us that nice plucky kind of sound. And if we go and switch on the ARP, it's pretty hectic, but we get these really, really nice subdivisions. It's just going to split up our chord, whatever we play. Beautiful. What scale are we in here? We're in a major scale at the moment. Let's maybe bring this into, been messing around with Dorian lately, which I quite like. There's a nice maybe Maybe we'll just keep it simple. Let's just go with minor. All right, so let's get a little idea in here. Let's I'm not liking that. Kind of cool. Let's get a little bit of delay and reverb going on here, just to give it some context. Let's split these up. Let's maybe bring up the something like that. Not sure where we're going with this, but let's actually just delete a few of these notes. So the beautiful thing about the ARP effect is that we have these 16 notes down here where we can eliminate some of these as we go along. So we can actually select what actually goes through. We're not actually going to send the full 16 notes through here. So we'll delete a few of these. Is really, really nice. So we've got this kind of like steppy, syncopated kind of feel, and then we can also bring up the swing amount. Awesome. I'm going to get some drums in here too, just to give it a bit of context, because we're starting to lose the actual rhythm here. It's a nice loop out of the ADSR Deep House pack. What's it called? Just Deep House, I think it's called. Let's have a play of this. Maybe bring the tempo up a little bit. Yeah, cool. I'm feeling this. Let's just record something and see how we go. That'll do. And we'll go back in here, fine tune this. And let's give it a quantize, shall we? And I'm also going to use this little guy over here, this nice little trick, legato. What that does is stretch out all the notes to the nearest MIDI note. So now everything's nice and tight together. Maybe we could try spreading out these notes. Let's bring this up an octave. It's more like it, so they're all within the same ballpark. Let's go up here. Oh wow, we've got a whole track here. I could just finish this today. Let's go a step further. Let's add in this little device. I'm going to add in some ducking, so we've got a little bit more movement going on. Go down to my audio effects. Just going to grab an auto pan, and let's bring the phase down to 0. If you saw my stream last week, you would have seen this trick a fair bit. And going to put the frequency on to beats mode. I'm going to bring this up to quarter notes. I'm going to change the waveform to a sawtooth, and we're going to invert that. So now if I bring up the amount, be able to see this in live now, the amount going up and down. We've got this auto pan which is acting like a ducking now. We've turned the phase. If I bring the phase up, you can see it's going to pan things from left to right, but if I bring that phase down, essentially left and right are acting as one, and we've now just got like this volume modulation, and you'll hear the effect of that immediately. Now that's pretty intense. Let's maybe bring the amount down a bit. Actually even try this in a lower octave. Let's Command A everything, select all, and shift and down. Drops it down an octave. Let's just have a try. It's pretty cool. Maybe we could have 2 versions of it. So I'll duplicate this, and the first version, we'll keep this up on the same octave, and we might experiment a bit further. Let's go down into the waveform here. Maybe we could try maybe like a square wave here, and we could try going up an octave. Screw it, let's get a bass line. I'm really feeling this. I hope you guys are feeling this too. I'm just going to grab, let's just do a Command F. I think there's a nice house bass in here. Yeah, that'll do. Maybe not the right sound for this, but nice. Yeah, pretty cool. I like that idea. That's probably my favorite so far. Please let me know which one is your favorite so far. We have one more example for today. We're coming to the end here. This last one's going to be pretty fun though. I think you're going to like it, and then we'll delve into the chat. We'll do some shout outs. We'll spread some love. We'll answer some questions. So let's go fresh start. It's a shame to delete this project because I was quite into it. I should save it. It's Command A everything and delete that. This house bass I don't think was the right sound, so I wasn't quite feeling that. All right, so for my 5th idea here is the simpler slicing mode. This is an awesome feature of Ableton's simple sampler device, which is called Simpler, which allows us to slice up audio just like we would be able to with any sampler, really. So if we take a nice melodic sample and drop that into a simpler device, we can have a lot of fun with it, and is generally a pretty good place to start. I use this a lot when I'm using acapellas for slicing them up. So let's demonstrate. I'm going to go into my instrument racks or my instruments here and just drop a simpler into a MIDI track. Now, I was delving into the latest pack from ADSR, which is quite nice, Lo-Fi, which is like a lo-fi hip-hop kind of pack. Just got tons of really nice melodic loops. We can just play a few of these. We've got some nice electric guitars in here. Super nice. Nice. I think we'll go maybe some pianos. Yeah, this is the one I was listening to earlier, actually. Really nice. Really, really nice sample pack. So let's just drop that into Simpler here. And you can see this is like sliced it up already. I'll open this up into the breakout view so you can see this in all its glorious detail here. So what this has done here is Simpler has gone through and just analyzed this waveform and split it up as best it could into little subdivisions that it thinks we want to use. Now, it doesn't always get it that right. You can see here we've got some massive transients here when the chords are playing, but the Simpler has gone through and given us way too many slices in here. But we also have a sensitivity on this, so we can actually bring the sensitivity right down, and you'll notice this on the push, I'm losing my pads. The further I go down with my sensitivity, the less slices we get. So I reckon something like this looks pretty good. That's not very good. Really nice. Now we're getting little tail ends here of these samples. We can fine tune that. Let's not worry too much about that yet. Let's get an idea down. Let's bring the tempo right down. I don't usually make lo-fi. I'm sure there's some lo-fi heads out there though. Maybe like 95? Maybe even slower. It's really chilled, isn't it? Really, really hard to play at that slow tempo. Even though I'm a drummer, this is shocking. I'm going to get some beats in here. We've got this one, maybe? No, that's the sample. Let's just go back into the pack. I'm sure we can find... Actually, let's make a beat. I'm being lazy here. Let's go... Actually, let's go into beat tools here. There's some nice drum racks we can use. That'll do. Let's get rid of our metronome. Maybe a little bit too hardcore. There we go. It's way too trappy. Let's get something else. Alright, that sounds better. Hopefully our kick's the same. Nice, that's better. Let's bring the volume down a bit. Let's use the repeat function. Let's just get a couple of these in here. Back to our sample. All right, let's record that in. What are we looking at? 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 4, 2, 3. Yeah, it's a 4-bar loop, I think. 1, 2. Can you tell that I don't make lo-fi? Now we've got some little artifacts and things here. What we'll do is just do a little fade out on these samples. Nice. Maybe we can get a nice lead in here. I'm just winging it now. Let's go into, say, Wavetable. It's my synth of the month at the moment. I'm absolutely loving it. Let's find a nice synth lead in here. Analog flute lead. That'll do. I've got to try and find the key of this. Nice. Just getting lost in that there. Had to try and find the key, but I think we got there in the end. Yeah, look, lo-fi is not really my thing. I mean, I love listening to it, but I don't really make it. But I think you get the idea, right? Just introducing this simpler slicing mode, which is just a fantastic feature. If you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend just dropping some audio in there and just have a go with it, because it's a lot of fun. All right, so there you have it, my 5 simple creative strategies to get you guys in the groove for making music. Give them a try. I'd love to hear your favorite techniques from the ones that I shared, or even if you've got some other techniques that you guys use when you're jumping in the studio or just throwing on some headphones and creating some beats. How do you get in that headspace? What helps you? Throw it in the comments. I'm sure we could all learn from other people as well. Did you learn something new today? Please let me know. And thanks very much for watching. Let's jump over to the chat though and see how that's going, because we're starting to run out of time here. Okay, there's a lot of chat. Let's see how we are. Stream is awesome. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's for beginners or advanced users. I'd say this is pretty much for beginners. There's a few tips in here that I hope some people picked up that they may not have known. When I'm watching tutorials, I'm always picking up things from the most basic of tutorials, even if it's just a technique that I've seen or I know. I can still pick up the way other people work, which is really nice. Hey, Soccery Productions, man. Hey, how you doing? What else we got in here? Home Fresh, how you doing, man? Nice emojis there. Don't know how you did that. Very cool. Why come to a stream about Ableton? We're talking. Yeah, that's true. Everyone here is welcome, of course. Hey, Rael39, sorry. Kay, what's up? I've just updated my Live 10 Suite license. Yes, if you are thinking about updating, now is a really good time to do it because Ableton has a 30% discount on at the moment. Michael Duff, how you doing? Not many questions in here. Lots of chat going on though. Boom, off the bat, never knew that. Michael Duff, great. I'm glad you learned something today, man. Gokko Soul, hey man, from Turkey, how you doing, dude? Hey, Polly Pumpkins, thanks, man. Thanks for the shout out. Not all of us have push. Yeah, I tried to make sure that this wasn't just push focused. You can do everything that I'm doing here with your standard MIDI keyboard as well, especially delving into the MIDI effects, right? So push almost replaces some of these MIDI effects, things like the scale and the chord, because we have these very nice pads which are nice and filtered so that we can just see the scale really easily. This is why I tried to not make this incredibly push focused. I use it because I have it, but honestly, just use whatever you have in front of you. Make the best of your current situation. Do not entirely rely or think that you need a push to create this, because you really don't. Sweet. Guys, what are some of your other favorite Max for Live devices? Oh, well, I really love, the ARP effect, obviously. I use it pretty much in every one of my tracks. I love it a lot. Simple tools. I love simple things that have very, very, like one use. Things like the Lfo Tool, which is fantastic. I use this all the time. This is just an LFO, and you can map it to anything you want. So if we want to make this filter move around, we just click on the map button. Let's put it on this filter here. And now we've got an LFO on this filter, like just so easy. And change the rate, the depth, if we don't want it to be so crazy. We can sync it to the BPM. Something fast. Simple device. And one that I've been using actually recently is the Shaper device. This one's a fantastic one too. And you can use this like a little sidechain effect, really. So if we change the curve type, and we can just split this up, something like this. This effectively becomes, we can curve this tool too. If we hold down Option, we can curve this down. This becomes almost like a sidechain. If we were to map this to, say, a utility, let's drop that in, drop that in here. And we can map this to the gain. And we'll bring this down to 50%. You can see the gain going up and down. Now, we're at a pretty slow BPM at the moment. That's why it's moving so slow, but now we can adjust this too. You can get fancy audio effects that you can, or plugins that you can download, which does this exact feature. And this is a free feature in Max for Live. So again, another one of these really, really simple devices that just has a very, very simple use, but I can use it all the time. So nice side chaining effect there from Shaper. Where were we? Homie Fresh, how are you, man? You like those drums? Thanks, man. I'm not sure which ones you're referring to. Can already tell this is going to be big. Another shout out for the drums. Thanks, man. These are all samples pretty much from ADSR pack. So I've been using the, let me just check here. We had the Lo-Fi pack, which was more of the melodic stuff. And we also had this Just Deep House drums, which was fantastic. Some really nice drum loops in here. I wouldn't normally just drop a whole loop on a track, but it's just to give it some context in the purpose, for the purpose of this feed. These streams are a great use of time and community interest. Totally, man. Yeah, I think ADSR are doing some great things. You know, these streams are all free. I really think you appreciate you guys just tuning in, and I think the ADSR are doing great things with this stuff. So it's all about just sharing this stuff at the moment, sharing the love, giving back. It's fantastic. We all do with some positivity right now. Cool. Till the next time. Ta-ta. Cheers, Jono. Thanks for tuning in, man. Martin Luther's here, apparently, from San Francisco, checking in. Don't stop now. Keep going. Sorry, man. My time is almost up, but appreciate it, mate. Tune in next time. Michael Duff is the long one. Is there a device like Shaper, but it's threshold activated rather than time activated, trying to automate decay length of loops? Decay length of loops, you could use something like the Lfo Tool, which I showed you before, which would be a good one. The Lfo Tool can be mapped to literally anything. I've seen this done before many times to automate or modulate, so I should say, the decay time of say a hi-hat or something like that. So you would just map. Let's just do it real quickly, shall we? We've got a little bit of time left. Say drum rack, where are we? 909. That'll do. Hi-hats. Let's grab the Lfo Tool. Where are you? Drop you down here. Let's map that to the, I don't know, release time. There we go. And then we just have to mess around with the parameters to sort of make it something that we like. So that's super extreme. So let's bring the depth down. I mean, you get the idea, right? It's very, very flexible. So highly recommend the Lfo Tool. Thank you to ADSR. Yes, let's just jump over. That was the YouTube chat. Let's just jump over to Restream. Ready to display. Questions for Ed, please let me know. Lo-Fi pack. Where are these samples from? Yeah, so there were samples from the Lo-Fi pack. There was also some samples from the Just Deep House pack as well. So definitely head over to the ADSR website for that. Great job. Definitely enjoyed it. Everett, thanks very much, man. Appreciate it. Super cool. So thanks for watching, guys. We better call it there. We've just hit 10 o'clock Hong Kong time, which is my time to go. The bell has rung. Thanks again to ADSR Sounds for having me. Let's transition, shall we? Bam. If you'd like to check out my brand new course, Produce with Push2, I go into a lot more detail about making a track from start to finish. So head over to adsrsounds.com/courses and you can find the course there. Also, if you'd like to reach out to me personally, I'd love to hear from you on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you like. Please search for Mr. Ed Rollo, EDROLLO. Thanks again, guys. Stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.